Homage to the Buddhas in 10 directions. Homage to the Dharma in 10 directions. Homage to the Sangha in 10 directions. Homage to our original teacher, Shakyamuni Buddha. Homage to the great, merciful, compassionate reliever of suffering, Avalokiteshvara Bodhisattva. Homage to the expounder of the teachings, the Venerable Ananda. Giving rise to the awakened mind, we unconditionally offer up a bowl of pure food to all the hungry ghosts in every land, to the farthest reaches of the vast emptiness in the 10 directions, including every atom throughout the entire Dharma realm. We invite all our departed ancestors going back to ancient times, the spirits dwelling in mountains, rivers, and earth, as well as rough demonic spirits from the untamed wilderness, to come and gather here. Now, with deep sympathy, we offer food to all of you, sincerely hoping that you will each accept this food and turn it over, making offerings to Buddhas, sages, and all sentient beings throughout the vast emptiness of the universe, so that you and all the many sentient beings will be satisfied. Moreover, we sincerely wish that your bodies be conveyed by these mantrams and the food, so that you may depart from suffering, be liberated, find birth in heaven, and receive joy. In accordance with your intentions, may you travel freely through the pure lands and the 10 directions and arouse awakened mind, practicing the awakened way, and in the future become a Buddha without regressing. We entreat those who have previously attained the way since ancient times to vow to realize liberation with all beings together, day and night. Constantly protect us so that our vows will be fulfilled. We offer food to beings throughout the Dharma realm so that every being will equally receive this fortunate offering. Whatever virtue and merit this produces, we completely transfer and dedicate to the unsurpassed awakening with total clarity and wisdom of the whole Dharma realm of true reality, that all may speedily attain Buddhahood without incurring any other destinies. May all sentient beings of the Dharma realm take advantage of this teaching to quickly attain Buddhahood.
At this time, I'd like to invite our incense lighters. And for the rest of us, if you could turn to page 2 of your chant book. And we will chant together. In gratitude, we offer this incense throughout space and time to all Buddhas and Bodhisattvas. May it be fragrant as earth herself, reflecting careful efforts, wholehearted awareness, and the fruit of understanding slowly ripening. May we and all beings be companions of Buddhas and Bodhisattvas. May we awaken from forgetfulness and realize our true home. At this time, I'd like to invite up the preceptors. We're going to be doing something a little bit differently with our 27 bells. It's tradition on Ullambana Day to instead make a little bit of noise to try to wake up the spirits. And so we're going to be doing that today instead. We have a bell here. We have a bell here. Okay, are you ready? We will, not 27. We're going to start quietly, a little loud, and dip it down again. Sound good? All right. Thank you all. Today will be a little bit different than what we're used to. So I will give you a few morning announcements, hopefully to explain a little bit of what's happening today before we move further on. Today we are honoring Ullambana Day, also known as the Hungry Ghost Festival. This is a time when we honor our ancestors who have passed, as well as any sort of wandering spirits in the realm that may need a little bit of compassion. One thing that I will say before we move on too is that unlike maybe other beliefs and faiths, Buddhism doesn't always put a lot of weight on fact, whether or not we believe something to be true or not. In fact, the story of the Ullambana Sutra is pretty widely known to be apocryphal. It was written hundreds of years after the passing of the Buddha, so there's not really any way that this actually happened. But I think that there's still a lot of really great lessons. And today, if you believe in ghosts, then I invite you to continue on believing ghosts today. And if you do not, I would invite you to see if the belief in ghosts helps you become a more compassionate person today. And if it does, then we'll all do it together. So with that, why don't we all stand up and greet each other? And we'll be turning to page 3 to do our morning refuge chants. I go for refuge to Buddha, my deeply awakened mind, the living source of understanding and compassion, which must be cultivated to be known fully. I go for refuge to Dharma, the path of mindful living, leading to healing, joy, and enlightenment, the way of peace, which must be cultivated to be known fully. I go for refuge to the Sangha, the loving and supportive community of practice, realizing harmony, awareness, and liberation, which must be cultivated to be known fully. I am aware that the 3 jewels are within my heart. I vow to realize them. I vow to practice mindful breathing and smiling, looking deeply into things. I vow to understand living beings and their suffering. I vow to cultivate loving kindness and compassion and to practice joy and equanimity. I vow to offer joy to one person in the morning and to help relieve the grief of one person in the afternoon. I vow to live simply and sanely, content with few possessions, and to keep my body healthy. I vow to let go of all worry and anxiety in order to be light and free. I am aware that I owe so much to my parents, teachers, friends, and all beings. I vow to be worthy of their trust, to practice wholeheartedly, so that understanding and compassion will flower, and I can help living beings be free from their suffering. May the Buddha, the Dharma, and the Sangha support my efforts. May the Buddha, the Dharma, and the Sangha support my efforts. May the Buddha, the Dharma, and the Sangha support my efforts. And if you can turn to the next page, we'll be doing the Heart Sutra together. Dhamma Prajna Paramita Hridaya Sutra. The Bodhisattva of great compassion, from the deep practice of Prajna Paramita, perceived the emptiness of all five skandhas and delivered all beings from their suffering. O Shariputra, form is no other than emptiness, emptiness no other than form, form is emptiness, emptiness form. The same is true of feeling, thought, impulse, and consciousness. O Shariputra, all dharmas are empty. They are not born nor annihilated. They are not defiled nor immaculate. They do not increase nor decrease. So in emptiness, no form, no feeling, no thought, no impulse, no consciousness. No eye, ear, nose, tongue, body, mind, no form, sound, smell, taste, touch, or objects of mind, no realm of sight, no realm of consciousness, no ignorance, nor extinction of ignorance, no old age and death, nor extinction of them, no suffering, no cause of suffering, no cease from suffering, no path to lead out of suffering, no knowledge, no attainment, no realization, for there is nothing to attain. The Bodhisattva holds on to nothing but Prajna Paramita. Therefore, the mind is clear of any delusive hindrance. Without hindrance, there is no fear. Away from all delusive views, one reaches final nirvana. All Buddhas of past, present, and future, through faith in Prajna Paramita, attain to the highest perfect enlightenment. Know then the Prajna Paramita is the great Dharani, the radiant peerless mantram, the utmost supreme mantram, which is capable of allaying all pain. This is true beyond all doubt. Proclaim now the highest wisdom, the Prajna Paramita. Gate, gate, hara gate, hara samgate, bodhisvaha. Gate, gate, hara gate, hara samgate, bodhisvaha. Gate, gate, hara gate, hara samgate, Bodhisvaha Dhammaha Prajna Paramita Hridaya Sutra. Thank you. You can be seated. Sorry for the smoke. What you're smelling is called copal. It is a incense made from tree resin, and it dates back to pre-Columbian Mesoamerica. I'm using it because usually when we have formal ceremonies, we like to use more traditional resin incense. Usually we use myrrh in the temple, but I thought in a way to honor my ancestors who come from indigenous Mexican roots, I thought it would be a nice way to kind of honor them, as well as a nod to the Dia de Muerto that is starting tomorrow through the week. That is a traditional incense burn during that time. So I will explain bits and bits about what's happening today, because you probably noticed that everything looks a little different today. Is there anybody who's here for the first time? Okay, I'm so sorry. I can't tell you this will be a good representation of what you would get here on a Sunday. But so before I forget to say, if you do need to get up at any time, maybe the smoke is too heavy, you can go through these doors right here, and there's a downstairs space as well as a water fountain. There are also restrooms right through those curtains as well if you need to use those. So today is the Ullambana Festival, and it is based on a sutra called the Ullambana Sutra, which I'm going to sum up for you right now. So it was said that the Buddha had one of his students who had finally achieved a level of meditation where he was able to transcend the sort of planar realm that we have here and enter into the other realms of existence. And it's said that this person had a lot of grief in his life and had lost his mother early on in life. And so the very first thing that he decided to do once he achieved this newfound power is he went down to the hungry ghost realm. Now, in Buddhism, in Buddhist mythology, there's not necessarily the same kind of afterlife as you might see, let's say, in Christianity, where you go to heaven, hell, or maybe a someplace in the middle. But it's said that there are 6 realms that can be on heaven realms and hell realms. And all these things are temporary. It's not like you spend an eternity there. It's mostly that you're there to try to learn lessons that you didn't quite get to learn in life, or receive rewards, and then you move on to the next sort of existence within Buddhism. Well, this student, having gained this power to see into all of these realms, decided that he was going to go searching for his mother who had passed away. And I had imagined that he probably started in maybe the highest of the heaven realms, thinking hopefully she's there and happy. She wasn't there. Going down to the realms of the animals, wasn't there. And then all the way down to the lowest realm, which is known as the realm of the hungry ghosts. Now, in the realm of the hungry ghosts, it's said that this is reserved for people who are completely consumed by their greed, their hunger, whether that is in the form of just greed or addiction. And as a result, they're in this realm where they're eternally hungry. Their bodies become completely emaciated. But that hunger can't ever be quenched. And it is in this realm that our protagonist found his mother. completely, torn by grief that, his mother, who he had loved in life, was stuck in this hell realm, decided to do everything that he could to help her. So seeing that she was starving and begging for food, he grabbed a bowl of rice and brought it to her to feed her in this realm. But when she grabbed the rice and placed it to her mouth, it immediately turned into burning coals and burned her mouth. Her very sort of addiction and craving was the thing hurting her the most in that time. So the student came to the Buddha very distressed, saying, "What can I do? How can I save my mother?" And the Buddha's answer was pretty simple. He basically said, "You do this, what we're doing today, the Ullambana Festival." He said once per year, towards the end of the summer, when a lot of cultures say that the veil becomes thin between this realm and the next, we can offer offerings and remembrances and honor those people who have passed. We can give to the monks that are teaching and each other. We can come together in a sense of giving. And that is what's going to quench the hunger of the people in the other realms. And so they did. They had the first Ullambana Festival. They brought food and items that all of their past loved ones appreciated in life. And it said that through that action, they were able to quench the hunger of those suffering in that realm. That's the more traditional, I would say, interpretation of this story. I like to think of it a different way, though. You see, one thing about Buddhism is there's not really separation that exists. We can think of this as realms that exist after we die, but I would say that we go through all these realms in life. There are many of you who have been hungry ghosts at some point in your life, or maybe have known people who, through your attachment, through wanting for things, that hunger has completely consumed you. Maybe it's even affected your body. Hopefully you didn't turn into an emaciated, hungry ghost, but for some of you, maybe you did. And maybe that thing that you craved the most was the thing that was causing you the harm. When it hit your lips, it turned into burning coals and burned you. I like to think that his student didn't achieve anything special to be able to go to these realms, but maybe it was his own clinging to his mother that brought him to the ghost realm. He wasn't able to get over the fact that he didn't have her anymore. It was him that was trapped as a hungry ghost. And the Buddha knew the only way to free him was to offer this gift of community and giving and honoring those who have passed. There's a lot of magic in the Ullambana Festival. And if you don't believe in magic, well, you can just put that aside for today. You can pick it up later. But there's something really special when we take time to honor those people who have passed. And there's something really powerful about using giving as a way to combat that infinite greed that we see all around us too. The two aren't compatible. As a matter of fact, imagine yourself in a completely darked out room. A single flick from a lighter illuminates the entire space. And I think in the same way, a single act of charity and of giving can completely illuminate the hungry ghost realm. And so that's what we do today. You notice that if you look behind you, if you've been here before, you're seeing blank walls maybe for the first time. We usually have these gorgeous tapestries and paintings of Buddhas and Bodhisattvas. And then behind me, we usually have these statues of the Buddha. We have our altars here of the Bodhisattvas, and we've removed them all or covered them up. On the table, we have many offerings of things that our loved ones have loved in life, whether they be human or animal. I'm a little sacrilegious today, but I asked my teacher, what's one thing that every Ullambana shrine has? And they told me two things. First one was a pack of cigarettes. She said, "We're doing this for the hungry ghosts, not the monks." And hungry ghosts like cigarettes. And I asked her, "What's the second thing that every shrine needs to have?" We're doing this for the hungry ghosts. It's also my grandfather's favorite beer before he passed. I could always see how the night was going by peeking under his chair and counting the empty bottles. Usually we aim to create a sacred space here, and we're doing that again today, but in a different way. For the hungry ghosts, whether they're living or dead, they're not always ready to face, let's say, the Buddha. And today is for them, or that part of you that's here now. We cover up all of the rupas because we want to make a space for people who aren't ready to walk the path yet. Maybe they have things in their life that they're not ready to face. That this is a time for them. Or a time for you and those parts of you to bring here and just show some compassion for that part. We're going to do something a little different today from our sitting. I'm going to make a bet that there's not a single person in this room who hasn't experienced grief. And if you remember the talk from Kunga and the infant that was held, and the Buddha said, if you can go around the village and find one household who has never felt grief, then I will bring your baby back to life. And as you know, it wasn't possible. In a little bit here, we're going to dim the lights down. And I want to form a line as much as we can. And at the end of our shrine, there's a stack of slips of papers and a pen. And I want you to think of a name or maybe a few names of somebody that you would like to honor. Somebody that you loved that's no longer with us, animal or human, that you would write down and just like to invite into the space for a little bit of healing. Maybe even to pull out your grief attached to that person and lay this down for a little bit of healing. Once you've written that name down, I'm going to have you bring it over to our crystal Ullambana bowl, I will call it here. It was donated to our temple in memory of somebody who had passed. I would like you to place the slip of paper in the bowl and then give it a strike for each name that you wrote down. And then you can find your seat again. While we do that, I'm going to be performing a traditional Soto service that is done to sort of appease the spirits in the area. And there are two chants that are associated with this. The first one you may know if you've heard Nasan Skara talk recently is the Shosai Mikijo Dharani, which is the Dharani to prevent and remove all disasters, which anybody who's wandering and lost probably needs a little bit of that. And the second one is the Enmai Juko Kanengyo, which is basically evoking the name of Avalokiteshvara, which is the embodiment of compassion itself. So as I chant these chants for the removal of disaster and compassion, I hope that can kind of help bring some healing in this moment. So if we could dim the lights. And I would like everybody to stand. And do we have the papers ready and the pens? Okay. Well, I will leave it up to you to form a line here. And if we can, and then come to the bowl, and then you can return to your seat once you've written down a name. Thank you. And we can start. 연마에 주고 가는 교 간세안나무 묻수요 묻수요엔요 묻수요엔 북보소엔조라쿠가조 조는 간세안 보는 난세안 간세안 나무 붓수요 붓수요엔 요 붓수요엔 북보소엔 조락구가조 조는 간세안 보는 간세안 간세안 나무 붓수요 붓수요엔 요 붓수요엔 북보소엔 조락구가조 조년 간세안 보낸 간세안 간세안 나무 붓수요 붓수요엔 요 붓수요엔 북보소엔 조락구가조 조는 간세안 보겐 겐세안 간세안 나무 붓수요 붓수요엔 요 붓수요엔 북보소엔 조락구가조 조는 간세안 보낸 간세안 간세안 나무 붓수요 붓수요엔 요 붓수요엔 북보소엔 조락구가조 조는 간세안 보낸 간세안 간세안 나무 붓수요 붓수요엔 요 붓수요엔 요 붓수요엔 북보소엔 조락구가조 조는 간세안 보낸 간세안 년년 주신 기년년 소샤임 요키 지조더라니 노모산만단 모도난 오하라지고토샤 소노난 도지토엔 갸갸갸기 우논 시푸라 hara shifura, hara shifura, chisusa, chisusa, chishuri, chishuri, soaja, soaja, senjigya, shirie, somoko, nomo sanbanda motonan orachi kodosha sononan doji doen ya ki onan shifura shifura hara shifura hara shifura chishusha chishusha chishuri chishuri soaja soaja senji shirie somoka nomo sanmada motonan nora jikotosha sononan jijitu ki unan shifura shifura hara shifura hara shifura chishusa chishusha chishuri chishuri soaja soaja senji shirie somoko nomo samda motonan nora chikotosha sononan toji doem ki onan shifura shifura hara shifura hara shifura chishusha chishusha chishuri chishuri soaja soaja senji shirie somoka nomo sanda motonan noara chirikotosha sonona toji to ki onon shifura shifura hara shifura chishusha chishusha chishuri chishuri soaja soaja senji shirie somonkan nomo sanman motonan nola chikotosha sonan tojien ki onon shifura shifura hara shifura chisusa chishusha chishuri chishuri soaja soaja senji shirie somoko no manzan manda motonan norachi kyoto sononan no tito en ki onan shifura shifura hara shifura ha shifura chishusha chishusha chishuri chishuri soaja soaja so chenji kaon shirie somoko. En mai juko kanyen go kanze annamu butsuyo en yo butsuyo en bupo so en joraku ga jocho nen nanze an bonen kanze an namu Butsuyo Butsuyo en Yo Butsuyo en Boso en Jorakuga Jo en Kanzean Bonen Kanzean Namu Butsuyo en Yo Butsuyo en Bupo en Jorakuga Jonen Kanzean Bonen Kanzean Dokaneyan Namo Butsuyo en Yo Butsuyo en Bupo en Jorakuga Jonen Kanzean Bonen Kanzean Namo Butsuyo en Yo Butsuyo en Buposo en Jorakuga Jonen Kanzean Bonen Kanzean Namo Butsuyo en Yo Butsuyo en Buposo en Jorakuga Joken Kanzean Boken Kanzean Namo Butsuyo en Yo Butsuyo en Buposo en Jorakuga Jonen Kanzean Bonen Kanzean Namo Butsuyo en Yo Butsuyo en Buposo en Jorakuga Golden Kanzean Oke Kanzean Namo Butsuyo em Yo Butsuyo en Buposo em Jorakuga Jonen Kanzean Bonen Kanzean Namo Butsuyo en Yo Butsuyo en Buposo en Jorakuga Jonen Kanzean Bonen Kanzean Yen Jushin Ki Yen Turishi. Now we have respectfully offered incense and have chanted the Enmai Juko Kanengyo, the Shosai Mikikyo Dharani, and the heart of the Great Perfect Wisdom Sutra. We offer the merit of this for the benefit of all beings who dwell in this place. May Avalokitesvara Bodhisattva hear the cries of all beings, illuminate the universe with the healing light of compassion. Help us manifest peace and joy and promote harmony among all beings. May the suffering of those who live and visit here, along with those in the universal community, be at ease. May we always manifest wisdom and compassion in this place. Thank you all for participating in that together. I was telling the preceptors before, um, The worst part about grief is that everybody goes through it. And the best part about grief is that we all go through it together. Um, I would still like to do some joys and concerns, if you all are up for it. So if we could bring the microphone around. If anybody has, and it could be joys and concerns you're going through. It could be anything that you want to speak up today. Maybe it's just to honor somebody who's no longer around that you'd like to kind of just say something in their memory as well. Thank you.
I'll start. My name is Nasan Skara. I'm a teacher intern here at the temple. I have a joy today that our son is getting on an airplane, hopefully, as long as they make it, this afternoon and flying to Japan with their friends. And they just had planned a trip to go over there and spend about a month. He works hard, and and so do his friends, and they're all good young men. And so I'm just really happy that they're able to go over there and take this time to sort of explore the world. I told him several times that while he's there, if he visits a monastery and decides to stay, and I don't see him for a year, that would be okay. All right, it's okay. And he said, well, one of my friends owns a home. And I said, that's just attachment. It's okay. They can, you guys can all stay. It's all right. So.
Good morning. I had a new grandson born on Friday. So number 4 for our son and daughter-in-law. We got to experience our last outdoor concert yesterday with one of our favorite local bands in Fenville. And icing on the cake was one of the best harp players we've ever heard. So it was a good time with donuts. So.
Hi, I'm Brenda. 8 days ago, I was walking the shores of Lake Michigan, which I live right down the road from, and I saw this struggling monarch butterfly. And, they've already taken off. So she was definitely, there was nothing left. So I scooped her up and I took her home, and I've been feeding her hummingbird food on a sponge. And she has been with me for 8 days. But it is just a miracle because the transition, and I can think of no other creature more than the butterfly. Science doesn't even know how a butterfly, they know the steps, but they don't actually know the chemical changes that take place in the cocoon. So every day with her has been a miracle. And it has made me think that we do go through transition, and hanging on is very detrimental because everything is in a state of transition to something else. So I just wanted to share that story.
Hi, my name's Eric. That gave me the motivation to share this. I didn't know this was going to happen. I missed a couple weeks, didn't look at the newsletter. But over the last maybe month, I've become increasingly aware of sort of a big chunk of fixed identity that I've been clinging to that is no longer meaningful. Imagine if the bathroom of my soul had a bunch of hair care products or something where just not needed. And so I was going to do a ritual yesterday, like some sort of a burning ritual to signify letting go of this. But I've had a little grief associated with it and still clung to it a bit. And then, boom, we have this ritual. So I'm so happy that that this has happened today.
Good morning, Sangha. My name is Achino Nato, and I have both a joy and a concern to share. For my concern, I do right now have a lot of loved ones who are going through hard, difficult times, depression, cancer, legal issues with children. But I was on holiday a few weeks back, having a good time, and my first week, I got back to work. I'm going to cry. I think it was that Thursday. I found out that a coworker had committed suicide. And it was my last day of work before my holiday. And I'd actually seen her the day before. She works at an offsite warehouse of ours. So I didn't see her that often, but every time we got together for a company activity, you know, we'd hug. She'd show me pictures of her niece, her cats and whatnot. And the day before, the same thing happened. We had a company get together. We hugged. She showed me pictures of her niece, her cats. Didn't know that anything was going on. I knew she had struggled in her, previously, but I guess that Friday she had left work, and by the end of the day, she had committed suicide. And so I don't know, I don't know what her struggles were. She was loved. I know she was loved by me as a friend. So I wanted to reach out to anybody who's having those issues, who has those thoughts. And you are loved. Whether you know it, whether people tell you that, but you're loved. And then my joy is just being here today after several weeks of being gone. But thank you.
Hello, I am JD. I have a surgery on Tuesday, so I'm just looking for some blessings for that.
My name is Lila, and my dad Paisley passed away a few years ago.
Hello, everyone. I'm Ryan, and this is my daughter Charlie's first time at the temple. She's in kindergarten and 5 years old. She's doing great. Thanks for having us.
My name is Robbins Sangha, and today would be or is 48 days that are not 48 days, 48 years that my father has passed away. So I feel for you too.
Do we have anybody online?
One from, I don't actually have the name, but they say, I am honoring my mom who has Alzheimer's, my twin who passed when we were 16, and my dad who has passed 12 years ago. My father-in-law passed over Christmas. My heart has wisdom from grief. Amy. And Deb says, I am honoring my brothers Gary, Stephen, and my sister Lori. My joy is that I attended the silent retreat and gain so much peace. Thank you.
Is there anybody else who would like to say anything?
Hi, my name is Christina Dawn. This is my brother David, and I'm thankful to be here for the first time.
Well, we're holding a lot today, so why don't we take a few moments just to sit with each other. I do have to run through just a few announcements. We do have an online meditation group that meets here on Wednesdays at 6:45 over Zoom. And you can see the newsletter for more information about this or any of the groups that we have here. We also have a Thursday Dharma discussion group that meets Thursdays from 9:30 to 11 a.m. And right now they are discussing Zen and the art of saving the planet. And you can get a hold of Jingsu if you have any more questions about that. A lot of the stuff has already happened. So we also have our Buddhist-based recovery meetings. They meet here Mondays, 6:30 p.m. We meet Wednesdays, 6:30 at the Alano Club, and Fridays, 10:05 a.m. here at the temple or over Zoom. And you can get a hold of Jingsu Shane for more Shane for more information about that, or see the newsletter. We also have our potluck today, and even though our official service here has concluded, another big part of Ullambana is to give the food offerings, and we have offered some food on this shrine, we'll say for the early ghosts, but down on the shrine downstairs, we also have an empty bowl with and once we have our potluck, once you have filled your plate, if you'd like to go to that bowl and just offer maybe a bite of food to that, just in honor of anybody who you wish could be eating with you today, I think is a good way to put it. And we'll invite them to eat with us today as well. With that, why don't we do our closing gathas? Page 6. For all unskillful action ever committed by me since of old, on account of my beginningless greed, anger, and ignorance, born of my body, mouth, and thoughts, now I atone for them all. Vast is the robe of compassion, a formless field of benefaction. I wear the Buddhist teachings for the benefit of all sentient beings. All beings, one body, I vow to liberate. Passion, I vow to uproot. Dharma gates without number, I vow to enter. The great way of Buddha, I vow to attain. And if we could have one side face the other, and we'll give one last closing bow. Thank you so much. I hope to see you all downstairs for our potluck. And also, if you did bring anything to place on our altar, just make sure that you bring it home with you when you leave. We're not trying to keep your stuff. So. Thank you so much.